Monza was a very interesting race. Actually, great in my opinion. Very, very dramatic. Let's talk about that whole weekend in review, going over the race, then my predictions after everything, and definitely my ranking of the drivers. Let's talk about the new debutant, Colapinto, because that was a very, very amazing start to his F1 career. At this point, would I say he has a better opportunity than Sargent? It looks like it. He had a very decent weekend. He made a mistake in qualifying on his first qualifying ever, but the race was super decent. He finished 12th, just like over 30 seconds behind Albon, which is very good. Very happy for him. I hope he stays in F1 if he goes on like this, but it's still very early days. Let's see how it goes on in Baku. And Alex Albon scoring a point and qualifying in the top 10 is very good for them. Williams, I think, are glad with the performance they're having at the moment, and I hope they keep it like this. Now we need to talk about the biggest talking point, Leclerc winning from 4th or 5th on the grid. I can't remember at this moment. I think it was 4th, yes. What an amazing win on home swell. I did not expect it. I really did expect Norris to win this race by far and the Ferraris to fall off in the race pace, but that did not happen. And Leclerc wins with a one-stop strategy in front of both of the McLarens on home swell. It was magical. I am so happy for Leclerc. That's probably one of his best drives. He was definitely my driver of the race. We'll see who my driver of the weekend is. So yes, that was very good from Leclerc, showing his mettle once again. Magnussen is getting banned for the next race in Baku. I think this should have happened previously, but I don't think that collision with Gasly is like benefited of a 10-second penalty. Even Gasly himself said that that's a bit harsh. But still, who's going to be in that seat? I think it's going to be Ollie Behrman for Baku, which is very interesting because last year at Baku, that's when he got that full sweep of the weekend, ball win in the sprint and win in the feature race, and that put him on the radar, I think, of Haas at that point. So we'll see if that is the way they want to go, and I really hope that it is. Let's talk about F2, which I don't usually do, but Bortoletto going from P22 to P1 in the F2 race is something to be commended. He's P2 in the championship, only 10.5 points behind Isaac Hadjar. He deserves to be in F1. I think Isaac Hadjar has a chance to get in F1 maybe next year or the year after. Depends on what Racing Bulls and Red Bull do with the Perez situation. But I think Gabriel Bortoletto definitely deserves to get in F1. He's a McLaren junior, which means the best chance he has is at McLaren, but that's not going to happen with the two drivers they have. So maybe I really think he should go to that Sauber seat if he gets that opportunity. I think that's a very good place for him to go. Which is the other place that's open? I don't know why that happened. Oh no, that's the Racing Bulls. Never mind. Sauber is a good place for him. I really hope he gets it there. And our last talking point is McLaren doing another mistake. I really think they are screwing themselves with the battle for the championship. They could have easily have a 1-2 if it just followed team orders. Putting Norris in P1, I don't think he expected Piastri to do that. Piastri to fight so hard on the first lap, which is, I get what people say with the start, but do you really think if you're fighting for the championship that your teammate will do a dive like that? The rest of the race, he just drove angrily, and I think there's going to be some talking points. McLaren is going to lose this driver if they do this the whole season, because this is not how you win a championship. He gave up a win for Piastri, and Piastri doesn't have the courtesy to help him fight for the championship, even though that is one of the reasons he gave it up, is because they said he will help him fight for the championship. That's not a way to do it. I have seen a video of Will Buxton like going all bananas on the situation. Go and watch that if you can, because they are screwing Norris in this championship. But what can I say? Piastri did have a good drive. Yeah, that's all I can say. We'll see where they are on my ranking. Talking about ranking, let's get into it. But first, let's get to one honorable mention, which is going to be Yuki Tsunoda. I can't give him a proper ranking because I did not count his race, because in the first 3 laps he got hit by Hulkenberg and he had to retire, so there's no performance I can give from that. But his qualifying wasn't that good as well, so yeah, that's why he is going to be my honorable mention. So last place of everybody that finished is going to be Lance Stroll, who had a dismal weekend. Out in Q1, not close to his teammate any place. His teammate was 11th, almost in the points, but he was fighting for, I think he finished last of the runners, which is very bad. Even though Hulkenberg had like a 10-second penalty, had to stop for a new wing and everything, he was still 2 places ahead of him, which is not good. So Stroll is definitely the person on my last place. He does not deserve to be in F1 if he drives like this. Give Yuki that seat, please. I would rather have that. P18, second to last, is going to be Sergio Perez. You just saw the dog there. I think there's other dogs barking. Sergio Perez, he actually had a better weekend than most, but the drivers ahead of him, I think, just had better ups. He was just a little bit slower than his teammates, but it was a super close qualifying. But the race, he was not that good. He was beaten by Russell that had to like change his front wing because he made a mistake, and he was beaten with like 13 seconds or something like that, which is not good. I think some drivers had better races, but Perez is not showing that they need to keep him at the moment. 17, 16 and 15 have the same score, but this is the way I placed them. 17th place is going to be Nico Hulkenberg. Good qualifying, very good qualifying. P10, sad to see what the mistake he made. He got pushed off with Ricciardo, then Ricciardo got a penalty, and then he drove nervously, braked, and hit Tsunoda so hard the car broke. So that is why he is P17, because I think his qualifying was amazing, but the race was abysmal. Very bad. So not the best weekend for Hulkenberg, definitely. P16 is going to be his teammate. Not that good of a qualifying, but a very, very good race. Magnussen scoring points. I think he was P10, so that's amazing. Him scoring a point at Monza, I think it's the first time in a decade. But he got a penalty. I still think it's a little bit harsh for a 10-second penalty, but he got the penalty. That's why he's also 16th. Good race, but not great drive, should I say. P15 with the same score is going to be Zhao Guanyu. I think this is the first time he has actually driven good in a while. His qualifying wasn't that good, but his race wasn't that bad actually. That's why he is P15 above the other ones where they have the same score, because he actually had a clean race. He did well, drive appropriately, and didn't make any mistakes. That is why he is P15. P14 is going to be Esteban Ocon. Very close between 14, 13, 12, and 11. So like a point between all of them. Ocon was outqualified by his teammate, which I think is a bigger difference than in the race where he outpaced his teammate by just a little bit. So yeah, that is why she doesn't want me to talk about Ocon that way. I see. I don't know. So that is why Ocon is only P14. The Alpines didn't have the best weekend. The car wasn't actually there, so P14 for Ocon. He had a good qualifying P12 or 13, but then he pushed Hulkenberg off the track, got a 5-second penalty. When he went to serve the 5-second penalty, the mechanic didn't follow the instruction, so he got another 10-second penalty. But if it wasn't for that one silly mistake in the beginning, he probably would have scored points or be P11 or 12. I think it was P12. No, it was P13. Because he was overtaken by our number 12 spots with the same score, Franco Colapinto, which I'm so happy to talk about because he had not the best qualifying for his first qualifying. He made a mistake, so that means he only got P17 or 18. I think it was P18. But his race, he finished P12, not making any mistakes, not crashing, and he was on pace with Alex Albon. Not like the same, but enough to not let him like drive super far away. That's very good. So I think at the moment it's a better fit for Williams than Sargent. I really hope if Franco Colapinto does well enough, he will stay in F1 because this is a very good drive. P11 is Pierre Gasly, very close, like I said, with his teammates. I just think Gasly's qualifying performance was more impressive than Ocon's race performance because the car wasn't there for both of them. But I'm not sure what happened. I remember Gasly probably having like a different strategy than Ocon, something like that. I remember like the tire difference being something, which I can't remember right now. I think Ocon starting on hards with Gasly starting on mediums. I think something like that. P10, 9, and 8 once again have the same score. There's a lot of drivers with the same score this time. And it's going to be our first scorers, with P10 going to be George Russell. He had a very good qualifying. His qualifying was probably my third or second driver in qualifying because he got that car to P3 while his teammate was only P5 or 6. I think P6. So that was very good. But then it came all undone when he made that mistake going through the first corner, going straight and breaking his front wing, losing all the pace, had to stop, but he overtook Perez again. So that is why he's the lowest of the three with the same score. He just didn't have the best weekend. P9 is going to be Max Verstappen. It's weird that Verstappen is maybe P9, but he just had a meh race, which is not what we're used to. I didn't expect him to be on the podium, even though he started like P7. Qualifying wasn't that good. Perez was just like 0.07 seconds behind him, which is very close for Verstappen. And in the race, he only made up one position, but that position is only due to Russell breaking his front wing. I think if Russell didn't break his front wing, he would have finished P7, in all honesty, because the pace wasn't there. He didn't make any mistakes, or actually he did make a mistake or two when he went off I think it was turn 6, the second Lesma. So yeah, not the best weekend from Verstappen. I just don't think the car is there at the moment, so it's hard to see how good he is driving. And the best driver with the same score is going to be P8, Carlos Sainz. Qualifying wasn't that good against his teammate. It was very close, like I said. This was the closest qualifying between all of the drivers. I think it was 0.01 difference between Leclerc and Sainz, which is very good for Sainz. In the race, he did the same strategy as Leclerc, but couldn't pull it off as well. But that was still a very good drive from Sainz. I think he started P5. And he only went up one position because McLaren was too fast, but still, I think that was a very good drive from Sainz. Not as good as his teammate, like I said. His teammate had the drive of his life, but Sainz did very well. P7 is going to be Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton didn't have the best qualifying. He was definitely out-qualified a lot. One of the biggest margins between the top 4 teams in qualifying. But in the race, I think he was decent. He didn't make any mistakes. He just drove. I didn't think I actually saw him once on the TV. So it's a good weekend while his teammate did make mistakes. I don't know why the lighting is doing this. I'm going to figure that out. On the weekend, his replacement is announced at the home GP. He didn't make a foot wrong and driving well enough. I think when he made an overtake on someone, I think that's one thing I saw. The Tifosi cheered because they know next year is in a Ferrari, so that's very entertaining to see. Can't wait for that duo. Thought I saw something against the wall. P6, P5, and P4 once again have the same score, with the lowest being P6, Valtteri Bottas. Just another decent week for Bottas. Like I say every week, it's really hard to see how good he is actually driving because he definitely has the slowest average car over the weekend. And there's the cute doggy. And yeah, he qualified. His teammates went with the biggest margins, and he finished P16, very close to the top 15 finish. He didn't make a foot wrong. He did a few good overtakes, I think. So I'm happy with putting him P6. The fifth place with the same score is going to be Lando Norris. Lando Norris is the only reason I put him ahead of Bottas is the qualifying, because he had again a very good qualifying, out qualifying everyone, got on pole. And like I said when I talked in the beginning, I don't think you should be too harsh on the start, because I believe he didn't expect his teammate to fight this hard. Like papaya rules and stuff, it's a lot of bull. It's not helping anyone here. And from there on out, he drove angrily, and I think Piastri had the better race pace. Norris made mistakes trying to push, but that's just angry driving. And I'm going to take him down a bit. That's why it's only P5, because he still had a very decent weekend. Piastri just took the headlines a bit. So yeah. Talking about his teammate, he's going to be P4 with the same score. Qualifying not as good as Norris, but I think the race pace was very good. The move he did on Norris was amazing. It was maybe the wrong move to make on that point of the season, but he made it. He wants to prove he is also number one driver. He didn't make it. He didn't do anything wrong. McLaren did. They are running the ship down to the ground. But Piastri still had a very great weekend. Piastri didn't do anything wrong. He is like he's what's it called? Mark Webber. He's just like Mark Webber. So he just drove, and he could have really won, I think, if they didn't stop him twice. But they said they don't think they would have made it. So Piastri is P4. Better drive in the race than Norris, indefinitely. P3 is going to be Fernando Alonso. Why was Fernando Alonso P3 podium spots? Because that car was very bad. That car is really bad. Lance Stroll couldn't get in the top 15, and Alonso was fighting for P11, 10, and 12, which is very impressive. The car he has the biggest margin in qualifying, and I think he did a very good job. He deserves to be in the podium positions, because if he had a fast car this weekend, I probably think he could have won the race. Our runner-up silver medalist is going to be the winner of Monza, Charles Leclerc, the Prince of Monza. Very happy to see him win. I'll tell you why. Why he's second. Just don't kill me. His qualifying was very good. Like I said, he's the closest qualifying, 0.01. That's probably why he isn't number one, because, yeah, we'll get there. The race, probably the best race he has in a while. The best race he had in a while. Very good. Definitely the best driver today, or yesterday, in the race. Very, very happy for Leclerc. Number one, our winner, or my winner, is going to be Alexander Albon. He had an amazing qualifying, getting P9 in the Williams, because the Williams wasn't that fast. In the race, he fought and stayed at P9, which is why he is number one for me. It's because he had a very amazing qualifying. He was my qualifying winner, and he had a very decent race. Because this is average based, Albon wins out on the average base, because Albon had a very decent weekend, like amazingly decent. That is why Albon is my number one driver. Leclerc is very, very close second. If the margin between him and Sainz was just a little bit bigger, he would have probably been P1. That is my ranking. Let me know who I should change. But let's quickly go into my predictions, which went very bad. My good driver was Sainz. That was correct. My bad driver was Alonso. That's wrong. Pole was Leclerc. Nope. Fifth place was Leclerc. Nope. Fourth place was Perez. Nope. Third place was Sainz. Nope. Second was Verstappen. First was Norris. And Sauber in the top 15. Everything was a no. So I got 1 out of 9 correct. That means at the moment, I am 9 of 36. That's not good. Enjoy your 2 weeks break. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Trying to do more videos. Enjoy your weekend and the week that still has to come before the weekend. Thanks for watching. Cheers.